Hello friends, welcome to yet another session of Sati Speaks on Global Trade and Geopolitics, powered by NAVATIES, an international trade and engagement platform. We are here to support you on variety of information and news related to international trade, and also support you where possible in terms of your international trade related activities. So in this today's session, I am going to talk about a brief discussion of our EAM Dr. Jaishankar's talk at the India-Russia Business Forum that was held on November 2024 at Mumbai. Okay, so the basic session, what was this event that was all about? The event was all about engaging the India and Russia businesses and start identify opportunities between India and Russia. It was held today, the 11th of November 2024 at Mumbai, and the event was presided by Dr. SJaishankar, our Honorable External Affairs Minister, Government of India, and His Excellency Mr. Denis Manturov, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Trade and Industry of the Russian Federation. Okay. While this event was organized by FICCI and a variety of people had attended this event, Dr. Jaishankar delivered a powerful 10-point speech on the significant developments of activities between India and Russia. So what's happening between India and Russia and what are the things that can be engaged on that. Let's discuss a little bit about these 10 points and see what are the opportunities that's available for Indians to explore in the Russian market or vice versa. First, the first point, Dr. Jaishankar mentioned about the bilateral trade between India and Russia is about $66 billion. That was about last year's, and if we look at from UN's perspective, it was about 71 billion. The reason why we have discrepancy in numbers is because India calculates the number from April to March of a year, whereas United Nations works on a data which is January to December. So there's always a discrepancy of the numbers here and there as such. Okay. However, Dr. Jaishankar said that he wants to increase by 100 billion by 2030. So this is the first point. Yes, this is very important for trade because India and Russia being one of the close partners in trade and activities, a variety of things happen between India and Russia, but from the trade perspective, not much is happening here. So we always look at improving that trade between India and Russia and both being benefited. Point 2 is he said that the balance of trade is one-sided and this needs to change. Yes, when we look at that $71 billion of trade that's happening, India's exports to Russia is merely $4 billion, whereas Russia's exports to India is whooping $67 billion. That means there needs to be a change in the thought process. There needs to be a change in the way we extend activities, the opportunities between India and Russia. What is that India can export to Russia than we are just importing? See, out of the 67 billion, the majority is your fertilizers, your petroleum products and variety of things. But and also we do import a lot of edible oil from Russia. That's the reason why our imports from Russia has been $67 billion, but we need to work on that. More about this I will talk once our points are completed. Then we'll look at what are the things that we can look at to export from India and improve these exports from between India and Russia. Point number 3 is the India-Eurasian Economic Union, EAEU, trade in goods negotiations has begun in March 24, which means the free trade agreement between India and EAEU has begun. They have already started the negotiations, which means they're going to have a discussions between India and all the countries under EAEU, which is Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Russia. So between these countries, we are looking at opportunities on what is that India can trade, what is the free trade agreement that can be signed between India and these countries, so that there are more trade opportunities that can happen both between India exporting to these countries as well as India importing from these countries. So which means there is a free trade agreement that will happen in the next few years between these two regions, India and this region, and opportunities are there to grow. Then point 4 was on bilateral investment forum. So Dr. Jaishankar mentioned that the first bilateral investment forum meeting was held on April 24. Opportunities are to speed up the negotiation, have more discussions about what kind of investments can happen between India and Russia, what is that Russia can invest in India, and finally the idea is to come out with a bilateral investment treaty between India and Russia and look at what the Russian oligarchs can invest in Indian projects as such. Okay. So next is point number 5 is to have a program for cooperation in the Russian Far East activities. So it is to improve connectivity, basically to improve activities between Russian Far East area and India, or Russian Far East region to other parts. For example, Vladivostok region, Chukotka region, and various other things. If you look at Russia as a country, because it's the world's biggest country, it extends right from the western, the European part, to the eastern Asian part. And if you look at it, the most of the trade, most of the concentration of the country is on the western part, which falls in the European region, than in the Urals and the Siberian region or the Vladivostok and that kind of region. So there need to be a lot of opportunities and activities that can be executed or engaged between India and the Russian Far East region. Then point number 6 was on settlement of trade in national currencies. See, as we saw that when Americans or the West put sanctions on Russia because of the Ukrainian conflict, India and Russia started the rupee-ruble trade, right? So as of today, if you see that this trade is being executed through a special rupee Vostro account that is being used, where Indian companies is going to have Vostro accounts in Russia, and Russians are going to make the payment in rubles, and that gets repatriated to India through the rupee route, and it gets credited in India in the rupee format. However, that doesn't. It's a short-term engagement. It's not your complete. It's a quick fix. It's not a permanent solution. So, what Dr. Jaishankar is suggesting is that these activities have to go through the national currency settlements, and that will be the answer to the problem on a long-run basis as well. So, more activities need to be done in this region in order to make sure the India's trade with Russia increases, so that you don't need a third currency, whether it is USD, Canadian dollars, Japanese yen, or European EU euros, or UK pounds, right? So if that is possible, then it can be opportunities between India and Russia. Anyhow, there has always been a discussion that is being done between India and Russia, or the BRICS region countries, in order to have a specialized BRIC currency. Let's wait and watch to see what is that can happen in this kind of an activity as such. Then point number 7 is he spoke about bilateral agreement between customs, which means Indian customs and the Russian customs are going to have a bilateral agreement in order to share opportunities to promote the authorized economic operators, AEOs. So basically, AEO are those recognized exporters of each country who have already have certain level of special benefits available. They have special engagement activities that's happening, so that they don't have to pay or they don't have to do a lot of customs activity when you are an authorized economic operator. So it becomes easy. The channel becomes very easy. Green channels are getting set up, so that whenever we trade, there's no harassment or constraints from the customs on various set of documentation. So when that happens, the ease of doing business between India and Russia through these channels will improve, and it will increase the trade as well. Then the eighth point was discussed on connectivity initiatives. So Dr. Jaishankar said that these three primary connectivity between India and Russia needs a lot of attention. Especially he spoke about the India International North-South Transport Corridor, also known as INSTC. It is the corridor that was discussed and engaged to have between India to Russia through the Iranian Chabar port, and then from Iran to Azerbaijan, Azerbaijan to Russia, and engage trade between Russia and India through this cycle. So effectively, it is a multi-modal format, which means from Mumbai or Mundra to Chabar port in Iran is through ship. The Chabar port to Azerbaijan is through train, and from Azerbaijan or to Russia is directly through train related activities and all. So crossing through three countries. However, there was also one more discussion, one more activity that was proposed to use Armenia also as another country in order to transport goods. Now, even this INSTC also is going to help not only the Russian-Indian trade, but also it will improve the trade between India and Iran, India, Azerbaijan, India, Armenia, as well as many of the CIS countries and Afghanistan per se. So that was one sector. The second sector he put a note on was the Chennai-Vladivostok corridor, the sea corridor between Chennai and Vladivostok, direct connectivity. It will possibly flow through the South China Sea and directly to Vladivostok, and many more details are on it yet to be coming in. And then we are also talking about, he spoke about the Northern Maritime Route, or sometimes also called as the Northern Sea Route. This is the route in order to connect India and Russia through the Arctic Ocean. If you see, as of today, in order to send goods to Moscow, Russia, or even any of the other primary cities, it always goes through India to Middle East, through the Bab el-Mandeb, then through the Red Sea, then on to the Suez Canal, coming out onto the Mediterranean Sea, going all the way through from Spain to UK through the English channels, and then the North Sea and Baltic Seas. So if you see, and to the finally going to Kaliningrad or any of the Russian cities over there. But if you see that route is a very large route, and there is an opportunity if they are able to engage on the Arctic region and make a way from Arctic region right on to the Arctic region through the Japan on the the Chukotka region, and we have that on that region, then coming on to the Japan, and then flowing through China and South China Sea and coming out to India. If that route is being able to be generated, it is not only saves a number of kilometers of travel, it is also going to save a lot of climate carbon changes that's going to happen, because the amount of emissions required, carbon emissions that is going to do as of today between India and Russia, for India and Russia through the whole of the Europe and African region is much higher compared to what is going to happen when it's partially through the Northern Sea Road. So this also he raised concern on it, and he wants activities to be executed as early as possible. Then on the point number 9, Dr. Jaishankar mentioned about Russia to make use of the Make in India initiative to take cooperation into various other industries. See, if you look at it, as of today, Russia is there are a lot of opportunity that's happening between India and Russia, predominantly in the shipbuilding activity. If you see, 4 of the Russian ships are being built by India. If you look at it, I think one is happening in Mazgaon Dock, second one by the Goa shipyard, and the third one by the Kochi shipyard. The fourth one must be somewhere else. So if you look at that as an opportunity, so there are opportunities for India to do a variety of shipbuilding activities and variety of other activities as well. Then second things comes on also in the areas of MRO, that is the maintenance, repair and operations. This is not only from the shipbuilding perspective, it can also be extended to the aero industries, it can be extended to the machinery industries, a variety of things, welding industry, wherever opportunities are available. India has a vast land, India has better labor conditions, and India can be utilized as a space for building a variety of opportunities and do variety of industries can be built around it. So that's the reason why Dr. Jaishankar stressed upon taking or promoting Making in India with Russians and promoting them to invest in India and build for the world as such. Okay, and finally, Dr. Jaishankar also mentioned about one more thing is improvement of non-industry for economic connections. He basically where he stressed upon education and films as the media in order to improve the economic connections. So basically, what's happening? A lot of Indians go to Russia for studying medicine and other subjects, whereas a lot of Russians do come to India for learning Ayurveda, learning yoga and yogic sciences and variety of things. So that's not only that. If you look at from the films, Indian films are loved by Russians. Right from Mithun Chakravarti's disco dance and dance and disco dance movies to Raj Kapoor's Mera Naam Jab Kar. So a lot of opportunities has been there. India they have always liked the Indian movies, whereas the Russian film industry is a very small industry and not as matured as Indian film industry. So use of education and films can be used as a cultural engagement. So basically, the soft power can be introduced between India and Russia, and a variety of opportunities can be generated. Now, if you see these 10 points, what our Honorable External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar talked about, there are variety of opportunities that India can engage between from India to Russia. Now, what is that the trade that happens? Because Dr. Jaishankar mentioned that India's export to Russia is only $4 billion. Okay, let's try to look at what are those areas or what sectors that where Russia is importing, and is there any places where India can explore more into these sections and plan for increasing those exports. So for this, what I am going to do is I will take you through our NAVATIES platform, and where we are going to talk more about the opportunities and engagement and activities between the two countries. Okay, so I will just quickly change my output. Okay, so if you are able to see my screen, so predominantly if you see this is my NAVATIES platform, where we have analytics and activities for trade between India and Russia. In order to make things easier, I have directly gone to our trade statistics page. Basically, you can log in and go to the tools and trade stats, and then you can check out on the country level. Then here we are doing, I have selected Russian Federation as importer, India as the exporter, and we are looking at sectors. First, let's discuss on the sectors. Now, we said, Dr. Jaishankar said 4 billion, right? So we are looking at, this is what has been the last year's exports from India to Russia. That's about $4.057 billion. And whereas Russia's imports has been about $240 billion, we are only 1.69% of their imports. Why shouldn't we increase? Okay, so if you look at what are the top sectors of imports, exports from India to Russia, we are looking at machinery, mechanical appliances, which is $500 million. Then pharmaceutical products, about $371 million. Then organic chemicals is forms about $323 million. Iron and steel is $321 million. Electrical machinery is $269 million. And if you see Inorganic chemicals is 209, chemical products is 150, fish crustaceans, so basically are seafoods. Seafoods is about 149 million, photographic and cinematographic, those materials are about 125 million. Ceramics products, our tiles and those things are 116 million. Spices, coffee, tea is 92 million. Then other preparations are about 86 million and so on and so forth. Okay, so if you look at this, these are the sectors where India is exporting to, major exporting to Russia. However, if you see in all these sectors, our market share is very small. 1.36, 1.8, 5.15, 10.17. Okay, other variety of things. So when we say iron and steel, we are sending them the ore, steel. Okay, and but we are getting a lot of finished products from there. So if you see, 13% is major, this comes under the seafoods. And if you also look at which are the ones where we have exporting more, we have is lac, gums and all is for 24%, aircraft and parts of aircraft 20% of their imports is from India, cereals 18% of their imports is from India, vegetables and fibers, textile fibers, they are about 17%, leather products is up 15%, seafood is 30%, and rest of them are this one. Even with this scenario, we should be looking at increasing. See, India is one of the major exporters of the world. If you take from the perspective of coffee, tea, spices and all, 8.6% of these spices of their imports is from India. Whereas India is the market leader in spices, right? Then why are we not improving this sector? This is something you can look at. Even meat, if you look at meat, 6.82% of their imports is from India. That's about $47 billion from out of their $693 million. Right? So there is opportunities on that. But if we come, this is from the sector's perspective. But what would be interesting is to understand what are the products from the product perspective, what is that we can export to Russia, right? So I will go directly to the product perspective. So in the product perspective, that's about 6-digit HSOs. Now if we see our major exports is in the medicines, that is about $300 million. Out of the pharma, $360 million. Medicaments is about $300 million. So that's primary. Second is our aluminum oxide, which is about again another $168 million. Shrimps and prawns is about $148 million. That is about in the seafood. Shrimps and prawns forms about $148 million. Good number, isn't it? Then we have ceramic tiles, as I was mentioned. Ceramic products comes in about top 10, 12, whereas ceramic tiles is in the top 4 exports to Russia. That's about $110 million. So basically anything and everything from Mundra is going for Russian parts. Then we have smartphones, those kind of products is about $97 million. Then we have mucilagers and thickeners, those is coming at $75 million. Extracts, coffee extracts and coffee preparations, that we are talking about instant coffee, coffee powders and variety of things, that's about $73 million. Black tea, coffee and even tea forms $67 million. Tobacco is about $64 million. Rice is about $64 million. Meat is $47 million, and stainless steel rolls and flat, those things are all $46 million. If you see, these are the ones which have good amount of markets. But if you look at what are the top opportunities, if you see, this some of them, a variety of things go from India, like eggs and bird eggs, chicken eggs and those kind of things, that is there. India's market share is 100, but let's not look at that 100%. Okay, let's look at where we are, where our market opportunities, where we are less than 25% or 20%. This is the place where we want to improve, right? So if you look at here from the product perspective and 20% and all, we see a variety of products that's there. Okay, blankets and traveling rugs, our export is 20% only. Rubber, 20% only. Vegetable preparations, cucumbers, gherkins, 20% only. Why are we not increasing? Why is that gherkins are being imported by other countries rather than from India? See, let's look at it. Okay, Russia's imports are not from Turkey, seems to be more than from India, right? So we need to look at these opportunities and engage and export more and engage with Russia more. So Russians always has been our friends right from the past. We have our good geopolitical relations, military relations, variety of activities. If that is the case, then why is that India is not improving exports between India and Russia? So we have to look at it. There are a variety of the data points that says sometime in the future I will come with a specific set of areas, specific set of activities that we should look for opportunities and exports, because maybe to other parts of the country world we are exporting more, only for Russia we are not exporting more. If so, what are those products and how to improve that? For that we can always depend upon NAVATIES. You can always come visit to NAVATIES, find out all the opportunities and engage with India and Russia. And if you look at it, there are a variety of opportunities. If I take up my world directory, if at all I say Russia, as part of Russia, for all the sectors put together, we have 655 importers that we listed as part of NAVATIES. Okay, we would like to use that as an opportunity and engage between India and Russia, and we will also work on improving that number from 655 importers. We'll increase that number to 6,000 or 60,000 order, and there's a variety of opportunities that India can explore with Russia. China being their next door neighbor, they seem to have a lot of opportunities over there, but that shouldn't stop us to improve opportunities. And while the government is working hard on improving the trade routes, the supply chain, the activities between India and Russia, the geopolitical relationship between India and Russia, it is up to the exporter, up to the businessman, the MSME business, the MSME industry, the large industries, to look at Russia as an opportunity in order to explore opportunities and work between you other. So if you have a product that you want to explore in any part of the world, you can also explore Russia as a market. All you need to do is come to NAVATIES, have a look at our data, analytics, statistics, understand what is there. If there are anybody already interested in exploring, you can look up onto us for this activity. It's not just trying to find out the business buyers. Okay, you can also use the NAVATIES platform in order to get contacts with the Russian embassy in India or Indian embassy in Russia, or the consulates in both of the countries. So let's take up this very seriously. Dr. Jaishankar indeed gave a powerful talk for improving exports or improving trade between India and Russia. And again, as he mentioned, our trade deficit is very high. We have to shift, we have to change that. We have to at least increase in the next 10 years, at least instead of 4 billion to 66 billion, let's try to build between 20 billion and 66 billion rather than anything else at least. So, but there are opportunities. We need to look at that perspective. We need to prepare what is that they want and deliver what is that they want. And definitely this is possible only by MSMEs, and it is they who can look at it as an opportunity and engage in that. If there is anything that is supportive, that is required, NAVATIES is here to provide you that support system and the safety net to improve your trade between India and Russia. With that, I'll end this session. Yeah, I would always invite every one of you to come join NAVATIES and explore your world of opportunities. And we are here to help you and engage with the world. With that, namaste and bye.